You're watching Starting Point. Welcome back. And on this segment, we will be talking to Basri Kamba, head of Rantai Textile Lestari. It's an association of private sectors, fashion designers, academicians, NGOs, and other like-minded stakeholders. Welcome, Pak Basri, to our studio.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here on Starting Point.
Sure.
And later on, very soon, we will be discussing about sustainable fashion from the expert himself.
From the expert, Pak Basri Kamba. So before we head on to the talks about sustainable fashion, let's hear about sustainable fashion, which is a form of sustainability in clothing and apparel. Rantai Textile Lestari, or RTL, is a multi-stakeholder association related to the textile industry aimed at the mainstreaming sustainability in fashion and apparel. Here it is.
Formally established in 2021, RTL aims to bring together textile makers, fashion designers, academicians, NGOs, and other like-minded people to promote sustainability throughout the value chain of Indonesian textile, clothing, and fashion industries. The association expects collaborative work between multiple stakeholders to transform related industries to be more sensitive toward the environmental, social, and economic impacts.
Global warming.
RTL is actively promoting responsible and sustainable practices across the supply chain and hope it can bring fresh innovation in the related industries.
Now, as the second largest waste contributing industry in the world, the fast fashion industry substantially means more and more people use fashion products in excessive amount. As a result, the generated fashion waste will increasingly accumulate and cause worrying environmental problems.
Now, to know more about the issue, joining us is Bapak Basri Kamba, head of Rantai Textile Lestari, an association of private sectors, fashion designers, academicians, NGOs, and other like-minded stakeholders committed to promote sustainability throughout the value chain of the Indonesia's textile, clothing, and fashion industries. Now, Pak Basri, could you please tell us about Rantai Textile Lestari and what does it do there, Pak Basri?
Rantai Textile Lestari is actually a not-for-profit organization.
Okay.
Right? So it was founded by 7 industry players, all the big textile manufacturers in Indonesia like Pan Brothers, Sritex, Asia Pacific Rayon, Asia Pacific Fiber, and 3 others, together with 2 NGOs. So we established actually with a single objective, single goal, which is try to promote, try to build awareness about the importance of sustainability in the process of the textile, of the apparels, of the fashion industry. So we are not only about the industry players itself, we are also academicians, also the fashion designers, media, and all the enthusiasts, because sustainability is not about only environment. It's also about a social indicator, economic indicator, and governance. So it's a complex.
Okay.
So that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pak Basri, well, Rantai Textile Lestari focuses obviously on textile.
Sure.
Could you please first explain to our audience out there what actually is sustainable fashion and why is it such a big concern nowadays?
Yeah, as I mentioned, that sustainability in this textile industry, but then when we talk about textile, it's not only textile per se, but also it includes textile, it includes clothing. Clothing means also our towels, our bedsheets at home, our shoes, and so on, and also the fashions. So when you talk about sustainability, it's just the same like in any other industry. It's not talking about the impact to the environment, but also talking about the social impact, the economic impact, and also governance. For example, gender.
Okay.
So in in the way our process, we should also put the gender issue in the process.
Yes.
Right? Should not be male dominant industry, but also involve also women.
Yeah.
And of course, how we as industry contribute to our community and so on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pak Basri, we would like to know about what inspires Rantai Tekstil Lestari to make and to achieve this goal.
Okay. Yeah, I have been in the COP, in the COP in Glasgow, and also last year in Sharm el-Sheikh. See, so every single industry, including textile,
Yeah.
you can no longer do the take and make process.
Take and make process.
Cannot.
Okay.
Because you will be left behind by your customers, by the consumers, by the banks, and so on.
Yes.
So, sustainability should be at the forefront of our principle in the process. So, you cannot put sustainability later on. You should do it now, especially for Indonesia, a country which is also a big player in the textile global industry.
Yes.
So we should put sustainability in any single process of manufacturing the textile.
Okay, so talking about manufacturing the textile, Pak,
Sure.
how do we make it sustainable? What kind of message are you sending to all the textile producers out there to make it a sustainable fashion that is safer for our environment?
Yeah. So if you talk about us as an industry, the most critical thing is actually about the market.
Okay.
Right? It's about the customers, because they will drive the industry where to go. But then when you talk about the most important thing, number one is the raw materials,
Yes.
right? But then before you talk about the raw materials of your clothing, but you need also to know about the process before the raw material,
Yes.
and then the carbon emission that it produces. So, but then Indonesia has been, the textile industry in Indonesia has been there, it's already for 40, 50 years, right?
Yes.
So when you talk about sustainability, you need a lot of investment, you need a lot of change, but then it's there now in the horizon.
Yes.
You should not wait
Well, so what kind of change are we talking about, Pak?
a lot. For
Okay.
example, on our energy consumption,
Yeah.
right? We need to transform the energy which are dominated now by our fossil fuel. We need to change slowly into something renewable. For example, solar panel and so on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Seems like that's a lot of homework
Yes.
that
Not only
we
a lot
need
of
to
homework,
do.
but a lot of thoughts, a lot of investment, a lot of strategy. But as I mentioned, we cannot wait.
We
Right?
cannot wait.
We cannot wait, because Europe, 270 million people, 27 countries,
Yeah.
is a huge actually market.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a huge market. Oh, sorry, it's 470 million population. So it's a huge market, meaning they are the one who actually change the way in terms of requirements, in terms of standards. They've been changing more and more and more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pak Basri, as we are talking at the moment, we are pretty curious about where is Indonesia at the moment about the sustainable fashion percentage. I mean, 100% being sustainable, or where we are at the moment, in your opinion? Pak
I have
Basri?
no data,
Okay.
right? Because we are actually asking for a strategic roadmap
Okay.
from the government, together in collaborations with the industry and then the fashion designers and also the academicians, about the roadmap of the textile industry.
Yes.
Otherwise, we will not be able to answer the question, where are we, what are the challenges, and so on. But
Yes.
frankly speaking, I think last year our export value in
Yes.
terms of the textile and clothing around 13.5 billion US dollars,
Wow.
which is huge. But
Yeah.
then if you compare with Vietnam, who maybe 10 years ago was almost zero, right?
Yes.
It's already 30 billion. So we have
Oh.
left behind.
behind.
Yeah, with Vietnam, with
Vietnam.
Bangladesh, not to mention Bangladesh and India, which already 50 billion above. So even for the conventional textile, we need to go faster.
Yes.
And then the world now is talking about sustainable operations, sustainable process. So we need more to do. As Luisa mentions, we need to do a lot of homeworks. But then industry cannot do it alone. And then customers also cannot do it alone. So we need to collaborate with every single elements in the supply chain of the industry, because you are talking about fibers, you're talking about yarns, you're talking about fabrics, then you're talking about fashions.
Yes.
It's a full set of supply chains that we need to work together.
Yes.
Basri, just now you mentioned about the materials,
Yeah.
such as the fiber, and then you also mentioned just now about polyester and all sorts of fibers.
Yeah.
What can be done about this to make our environment greener? What message are you sending to the production textile companies out there?
So Rantai Tekstil Lestari is aiming to build awareness not only for the industry, but also for the customers, for the fashion designers. So it's a homework for everyone.
Everyone.
So yeah, so I think compared to the other countries like India or Bangladesh, we don't have a specific body, high-level body that manage this textile industry, right?
Right.
And then when we talk about the sustainable textile, back to your question, is the world has number of raw materials, talking about viscose or rayon, for example, and polyester, and cotton, and silk, and wool. Indonesia itself, we don't have wool. Very less, very less cotton.
Yeah.
Maybe less than 1% of our consumption.
Oh, wow.
We need 600 or maybe 500,000 tons per year. So almost 95% we import it from overseas. And then we have polyester, of course, and then we have viscose. So talking about these raw materials into the sustainability, I think first we need to see about the process. Of course, when you talk about renewable and sustainable materials, viscose is a par above, higher above, because it's renewable and then it can be traceable. But when you mix also with polyester, you can mix it also with cotton. Then you can balance. You see,
Right.
you can balance the needs of our domestic consumption because we don't have cotton.
Yes.
So we can mix it together. So at least in terms for the economic scale, we can provide works for the small, medium enterprises. You see, because this textile industry is centralized in Java.
In Java.
Yeah, in Java. Almost 80%, maybe 90% actually centralized in Java. So how you can utilize the 6 million people involved in this industry to be sustained, you see, because you're talking about job creations and others.
This is like a lot of education that is need to be done to all these textile companies, of course. What are the steps that Rantai Tekstil Lestari is doing at the moment, Pak, to reach out to all the textile companies in Indonesia and the message you're trying to spread out there?
Sure. It's not an easy mission, right? First, we are already 2.5 years old, and then today, by today, we have around 60 members, including industry, including associations, including academicians, and so on. It's still small, right? But for us, it's better small, but then we have the qualified individuals, the qualified members in our group. Then, two, we collaborate with same-minded organization overseas, like Water Textile, the WCTD, based in Europe, and also the the Singapore Fashion Council,
Yes.
and also the ASEAN Center for Sustainability. So the WCTD, the World Circular Textile Day, we have been working for conferences, and then they have been visiting Indonesia, talking about where Indonesia today, and the challenges and the options, the opportunities for Indonesia for this sustainable textile industry, which is not small, it's big actually.
Yes.
But the market is important. For example, if Indonesia is ready to create sustainable materials, who are
Yes.
going to buy it? If you, for example, can produce very high quality sustainable materials, who are going to buy your fashion, your product?
That's right.
It's challenging, but then the market is moving now.
Yes.
Yeah,
So we're heading the right path.
we are in,
It's
but
just a matter of whether we can do it faster or not.
faster. And then I believe it's a long and winding road. Why? Because it's
Just like the song.
Yeah, because as I mentioned, this industry is already 4 decades, 5 decades. If
Yeah.
you want to transform or shift the machines, it means you need to invest more. But as a business,
Yes.
we don't need to teach them. They know how to do. They know how to survive. What they need is actually a clarity, a roadmap for the industry where Indonesia is going to, right?
Right.
Because 13.5 billion US dollars of the export value of our textile and textile product last year, for us, it's still small.
Yes.
Right? Still small. We need to go further, let's say 20 or 25. But then when we are asked about what kind of textile that you're chasing for, of course, sustainable textile is one of our targets.
Yes. Okay. Pak Basri, as the head of Rantai Tekstil Lestari, please walk us slowly through the milestone that Rantai Tekstil Lestari have done in these 3 years, correct? In year 1, for example, what have you achieved with the programs? In year 2 and at the moment, 2023?
Yeah. Again, Rantai Tekstil Lestari is the only organization or alliance for enthusiasts for the industry, for fashion designers who want to collaborate together to build and then to build awareness for our customers. Right?
Yes.
So, in the first year, we are identifying who we are going to collaborate with.
Okay.
Right? It's a 12 months works that we need to do and then to work together with others. Again, most of us are pro bono. We are not paid for this organization.
Okay.
You see, because this is not for profit organization.
Yes. And you started for how many people is that in the first year?
We started actually with only 2 people,
2 people.
including 5 executives. But
Okay.
again, we are not paid. Yeah.
Yes.
And then now, we are heading for the 3rd year.
Yes.
We are now already, as I mentioned, there are 60 members.
60 members.
Yeah, in this organization. We are not aiming for thousands, but maybe 100 and so. But at least we want to build collaborations with domestic organizations, local organizations, and also international bodies
Yes.
on how to promote this. Again, it's not easy when you talk about the customers. It's not easy when you talk about the market,
Yes.
right? Because business means market. And then in Indonesia, you have 270, 280 million people, right? But then when you talk to any single customers in Indonesia that really care about the contributions in every single piece of their fashion,
Yeah.
the contributions to the climate, for example, to contributions to the sustainability, how many percent do you think that they're going to say, yes, is it 100%? No,
Yeah.
maybe less than 10%. Most of the Gen Z,
Yeah.
the millennials, maybe have that perception
Okay.
when they want to buy every piece of their clothing, they will ask about the traceability of that product and so on. Otherwise, so this is a big homework. It's a very slow, but then we have a strong belief that we are now on the right path But then we need to build also the market. We need to identify, especially the market overseas.
The market
About the
overseas.
needs, about the needs to buy materials from Indonesia that has been proven on their sustainability, its traceability is very clear. So we are looking for that market.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you mentioned about Gen Z now, and of course it's a
Yeah.
different generation now because everyone is into online shopping now, and there's this term fast fashion. Can you please explain to us more about this new trend of buying things instantly, Pak?
Yeah. Fast fashions doesn't mean that buying instantly, right? Let us just separate this marketplace, and also the fast fashion.
Okay.
Fast fashion. I don't believe that we buy shoes, we buy clothes only for single use, right?
Yeah.
Maybe in some countries, yes, they only use 5 times or maybe 3 times, and then they just dump and waste it.
Yes.
But here in Indonesia, normally we have a traditional, right? We give it to our brothers and
Yes.
sisters, or maybe
Yes.
friends and so on. So even if you talk of our traditional batik, you see,
Yeah.
batik sometimes even myself in my wardrobe, most of them are already 5 years old
Yeah.
and 10 years, and they're still beautiful, right?
Yes.
And then if you look at the history of the batik, they can use the first part and then the other part, right? So
okay.
it's always also a symbol of when they use it and then when they want to change it. So fast fashion, I don't think it's suits for us Indonesia,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Because economically, we sometimes buy it maybe more than 20 times, right?
Yes.
But when you talk about the marketplace, yeah, it's now very quick if we want to buy. But then, as Indonesians, we need to, number one, about the materials, and then if we want to buy something, of course, we are talking about, we need to know the brands, we need to talk, we need to know also the materials and so on. But I think what RTL is doing, we need to build the awareness of the customers in Indonesia about,
Yeah.
they should ask the question, who is making this?
Who is making
Right? Who is making this? Is it my brothers and sisters in Java or maybe else, or the small
wow.
medium enterprises?
Yeah.
Or is it I'm going to enrich or to give more economic to somebody overseas?
Other
Overseas.
countries, yes.
Okay.
Right? So sometimes we're just so proud or really want to buy something from overseas,
Yes.
right? But you are not going to help the small medium enterprises scattered across Indonesia,
Yes.
right? So, and then after that they can look about the style, and then the fashions.
Yes.
That should come second.
That should become
That
second.
is such a big challenge, and that is a big
Sure, yeah.
awareness message that you're sending out there, because most of the time people will not be thinking that far when it comes to buying
things.
items,
Yeah.
especially clothing. We will talk more and we will look into that more after this short break. But stay with us on Starting Point. We'll be right back.
And so we are back on Starting Point, and we are talking about sustainable fashion with Pak Basri Kamba, head of Rantai Tekstil Lestari. Now, as Luisa mentioned about fast fashion, now how about thrifting, Pak? Is thrifting a part of movement to support the sustainable fashion, Pak Basri?
I think first we need to differentiate between waste and used clothes.
Waste and used clothes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have no reference about the wording of thrifting, but
Okay.
let's differentiate between waste and used clothes.
Okay.
Okay.
So waste is waste.
Yeah.
You see, Indonesia should not handle waste generated by other countries,
Okay.
including textile, because we cannot detect this waste coming from which. Is it coming from hospital? Is it coming from whatever? I don't know.
Yes.
Right? But used clothes is good because when we talk about sustainability, we are talking about reuse and then recycle and so on. So it's good. For example, if we can reuse again our fashions, our clothing that we are going to dump, our towels and so on.
Okay.
So it's going to contribute parts of Indonesia's journey for sustainability.
Yes.
So it's good because the world is no longer talking about take and make. You see, we should think from the very beginning of the process of any of our products, including textiles, about from the materials, the process, and so on, the contributions and the impact of our products to the environment, to the economy, and then to the social of this process.
Yes.
Yeah.
So waste is bad, and the reuse clothings,
It's-
that's
it's-
preferable.
No, what I mean is not, I'm not saying waste is bad, but waste is waste. You see,
Okay.
waste is about to be dumped, to
It
be
should not be
landfilled,
reused again.
to be
Yes.
incinerated, should be not used again because waste should be the responsible of that specific country.
Okay.
We cannot collect this waste and then bring it or ship it into Indonesia
Yeah.
and then sell it again.
Okay.
Number one, it's illegal, right?
It's illegal. Yeah.
The country, through the decree of the Ministry of Trade, is already very clear that is illegal.
Okay.
Yes.
And then why? Because it should be dumped. It should be incinerated or it should be put in the landfill or whatever. That's not the responsibility of Indonesia.
Okay.
Our responsibility is to manage our own waste,
Yes.
our own used clothes. So I think we should not be disguised or camouflage with this kind of used clothes and with this waste.
Okay.
So for us, that used clothes should be put and should be identified in Indonesia's roadmap for sustainability.
Okay.
Where should we put this one? Where we are going to handle it? What kind of facilities? What kind of infrastructures that we need? Because used materials is going to be a new currency in the future. Why? Because it's so important that most of the manufacturers at the moment in Europe are talking about and looking about these materials coming from used fashion, used clothes.
Okay, so you're saying this will be the newest trend, will be a trend later on in the future.
It's already a trend, but
already
then the
trending.
market may be still small,
Okay.
Okay.
right? But when you go to Brussels, talk to the EU, they are talking about a lot of standards, including later on the percentage of any single products of textile which coming from used or recycled materials.
Okay.
That's going to be a mandatory.
Okay,
Right.
that's good to know
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the future.
For the future.
Yeah. Pak Basri, let's just come back to Indonesia again. I mean, I think compared to other countries overseas, especially the Western countries, they have a lot of thrift shops where they put a lot of used clothes there. Whilst in Indonesia, we don't see many of that. Now, my question is, as the end user here, how can we adopt this sustainable fashion? And I mean, what can we do with the clothes that we don't like anymore to keep recycling them if we don't know where to send them off to?
Yeah, I think, as I mentioned, right, this is actually one of the key targets of Rantai Tekstil Lestari, to build awareness and then to collaborate with the government, with the industry, with the media, and also with the fashion designers. Why? Because otherwise, this kind of questions will never be answered. Every single players in this sustainable fashion going to different paths. You see, the industry is going this way, the lack of the infrastructure in Indonesia, and then we don't, the market is not clear yet, so we are going to different paths. So
Yeah.
I think we need
We're not working
one
together.
bubble,
Yeah.
sure, one bubble, one roadmap. Where are we going to? Who is responsible on this one? Who are going to manufacture, for example, collecting points,
Yes.
right? People can dump everything there if you don't educate them.
Yes.
For example, we just need denim. We just need white towels.
Yeah.
Yes.
We just need this and this.
Yeah.
So every single boxes later on, there will be somebody, there will be an industry who will be responsible for that boxes, right? And
Yes.
then they will recycle it, and then all process is clear, is traceability, you know?
Traceability.
Yeah, because traceability, we cannot only self-claim on, and then put into our document, but there should be one body, verified body, that identify that one, this is, the traceability is correct or no, otherwise that will be self-claim, right? And then there will be no one verified. We need an independent party to do the verification.
Is there already exists? at the
Already
moment?
exists.
Okay.
Yeah, there already exists. There are a number of international bodies that can verify that that process.
The process.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Pak Basri, back again to
And it's not cheap.
It's not cheap.
Yeah, it's not cheap, but
Thank you for
it's a good
mentioning that.
investment. It's a good investment. Yeah,
Okay.
good investment.
How's the numbers not cheap? Can you mention about the number?
I don't have the exact figures, but a number of companies already use that kind of that kind of body.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of party, because they also need to go to your factory to double check.
Oh.
Yeah,
the
to double check. Where did you get this material? Okay, coming from that one, and then they will trace a number of process
Yes.
after that, and also goes to where you are going to sell it, where you're going to ship it, and so on,
Wow.
which port, and so on. So I think that is good, you know, because that will be part of any industry to become transparency to their customers, and then it's also good for them if they need loans from the banks, you see. So it's part of the investment.
It is
It's part of the investment.
Now, before we close this segment, Pak Basri, what kind of message do you have for our audience out there as individuals? What can we do to support a sustainable fashion for our future?
Yeah, I think I will look from different perspective. Number one, from the industry.
Yeah.
I think the industry knows actually what to do. I understand that the market for this sustainable fashion is not yet as strong as the conventional market, but at least Indonesia should start from now.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we will be left behind.
Yeah.
And then to do that, of course, we need investment, but we need to collaborate and then to talk to the government, to talk to the academicians on to identify the problems and then how to solve it. That's from the industry perspective. But then, from the customer perspective, I think it's the market driven, and then the customers should also talk, number one, who make their clothes.
Yeah.
Right? I'll prefer if we choose that it's from Indonesia, you know the materials, where they're coming from, at least for your contributions to our only planet.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Okay, so we need to be more aware of that.
Yeah.
Perhaps next
Not
time.
easy though.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's
Pak
not easy.
Basri, it's hard enough to find a clothes that we like with the
Exactly.
right price,
With the right
but now
price.
we need to be more aware.
Yeah.
And I can imagine, you know, like next time I go to a shop, whenever I want to get the clothes, I will need to double check on where it's made, what it's made of, and where is it made.
And then the second one, talking about the waste materials from overseas. Number one, it's illegal, and number two, it's going to kill our small medium enterprises.
That's right.
They're working hard to survive in the industry.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. So thank you
you.
for the message, Pak Basri.
my pleasure.
Such a deep insight to the textile talk and to the sustainable fashion. We learned a lot this time.
We learned
Eda.
a lot, Louisa. So
Yeah.
thank you, Pak Basri.
Thank you.
And good
Welcome.
luck with Rantai Tekstil Lestari. That is our sustainable fashion talks this morning on Starting Point. We'll see you on the next episode on Starting Point from 8 a.m. until 9 a.m. I'm Narendra Pawaka, and this is my partner.
Luisa Kusnandar, thank you so much for watching Starting Point, and we wish you a very good day.